Hi, my name is Tanya and welcome to my small backyard vegetable garden here in central Victoria. We are due for rain tonight, so there are a few things that I want to get ticked off a list. One being the end of this garden bed. The blackbirds are having way too much fun and I need to get something sorted because I direct sowed a heap of iceberg lettuce seeds and a lot have sprouted, but they're coming up through the lace curtains, so they need to go, otherwise they're just going to rip them all out. I don't want to waste this opportunity. All of them won't grow, I don't think, but I'm going to do something to try and save them. The iceberg lettuce that's here, we use it leaf by leaf. We just pick it when we need it and we are enjoying that. So I'm going to start by taking out all the marigolds because they were hit by the frost we had. So they're coming out and I've got something else planned for here. I'm going to start by putting down some cow manure. It's all composted. Just going to put a bit more food back into the soil, and I took off all the flowers from the marigolds just in case they're keeping any pests at bay and they can hang around and mulch down into the bed. Now these three broccoli plants are supposed to be all purple sprouting broccoli. I have one that is really purple in the stem and the other two I'm not seeing any purple, so I'm not sure what's going on with that, but I guess we'll see soon. I'm not sure why the blackbirds are finding this end of the garden bed so fascinating, but it must be something, and I've put anything and everything there trying to keep them off it. The lace curtains were excellent for germinating the iceberg lettuce seeds, but I need to have something so they can grow up through. Now, because I had such a good trial with the spent raspberry canes in the other garden bed with the chard, I'm going to do that again because they have left that garden bed alone. Previously, they were digging out peas, they were digging out little seedlings, the whole lot. So fingers crossed I can replicate that here, but I have a few onions that were taken out of the garden bed behind me that were in with the carrots and the beetroot, and they've been patiently waiting in a tin with a little bit of soil over them. They've got nice little bulbs on them, so I plan to just top dress this little bit of onion bed here and plant them in there. I hope that they will continue growing, but if I don't try, I won't know, so I may as well. I was actually surprised that there were so many onions in there. There weren't so many green tops, so I thought that maybe they had rotted. The beetroot leaves had overshadowed them a fair bit, even the carrots. So when I went digging around there a bit and found a whole heap of little bulbs, I knew I had to try and put them somewhere else, and I'm happy to be putting them here with these other onions. So today is their lucky day. They're going back in the soil and they can continue hopefully growing green tops and getting bigger underneath the soil. This bed is cram-packed with things, and I did sow carrots and beetroot and a lot germinated. We are picking from the chard most nights, and I am thinking that I might thin out the beetroots that are just off screen here and maybe transplant them somewhere else. Just dig up little clumps and move them elsewhere. So then I have quite good sized seedlings going into a different place, probably the third garden bed, and these ones will then have space to spread out. So that is maybe what I will do in the next video, transplant some things over there. I cannot do it with the carrots, but I know I have planted punnets of beetroot, so I think that is possible. We are enjoying the beetroot so much, having roasted beetroot soup. It is just beautiful, and I can't wait until I have some more that I can pick. I'm going to get this cover back over the onions. It does help with the birds, although they can get through that wire. Ideally, it would be a finer mesh to keep the birds out, but I can't find a finer mesh that rusts, so it would have to be a silver or a different color, and I'm fine with that. I'll just have to keep working at doing something with the birds. And they're not too bad. They are a little crammed in there when they do get in there, so I don't think they like that anyway. I am putting a bit more terracotta edging at the end purely because the blackbirds like to sit on the edge of the garden bed and just jump in. Now with a bit more height, they don't do it as much. That's what I have noticed elsewhere on the garden beds. The radicchio I sowed many weeks ago in the seed snails is due to be planted out. I have been waiting for a spot, and I think that now the marigolds have gone, I am going to put some in there and see how it goes. And there'll probably be too many for there, so some might go into garden bed number 3. But look at these. They are looking so good. And I'll be very happy to get them in there because I think they're just getting beyond being in here. I would have to put more potting mix in with them, and I think it'll be better for them just to go into the garden bed. They're big enough, so I'm not going to overthink this. I'm just going to get them in and planted. I cannot wait to see the beautiful burgundy colors of these come up in the garden bed. Some of the leaves are starting to change. The color is just beautiful. So I'll be enjoying these. I'm just going to plant them in clumps. That is how it is. I don't want to individually break them up. They're already coming out in nice little clumps, so I'm just going to plant them as they come out of the seed snail. And it will be one less there, which means I can sow another one or 2 seed snails with some winter things. Look at that burgundy color, just beautiful. So I'm just going to plant them along here where the marigolds were and just see how they go, because I'll have to take extra care of them because they are young seedlings. Just like the iceberg, I may as well plant them all there together, and I'm taking extra care of one little clump of garden bed, and it makes life easier. It's always difficult trying to plant seedlings where the leaves are so delicate, and that's how I felt planting these in here. A bit like lettuce leaves, they are so delicate and you feel like half of them are going to die before, the first week. I think they'll be fine, and they're in decent clumps, so if half of them die, it's not too bad. And I'm just looking here, I hadn't looked from this angle. There is actually purple stems on the middle broccoli, so I'm happy to see that. Anyway, I've got some more. I'm going to take over to garden bed number 3 and just plonk a couple of clumps in between the rows of the mini cauliflower and the purple cabbage. And I think this is where in between these rows I will put some clumps of beetroot. I think they will be fine in there. And fill out that. I had thought about planting fast growing greens, but I think if I've got the seedlings, the beetroot seedlings, and they are too crammed in there and I don't want to pull them out and just waste them, I may as well at least try and just transplant them over here and hopefully they'll take off. The straw on this garden bed is very thick. I just keep going in and checking and pulling the straw back around the seedlings, making sure the least amount of straw is touching the leaves and making sure they've got a bit of dryness around them. When the straw is up so tight around these tiny seedlings, they can rot off. So just making sure I pull the straw back, and the Brussels sprouts have settled in really well. They did. All of these got a bit touched by the frost, the heavy frost I had last week, So I just have to put covers over them and make sure that they have a little bit of protection. I am feeling quite nervous about exposing this garden bed and just having sticks on it. I figure that if I put the sticks on it, at least then if I do want to put netting over it somehow, then the smaller seedlings will be protected from the net laying on it heavy and sort of affecting the seedlings. The sticks will just hold it up a bit until they can get going. I'm not sure how I'll go. I might just put a bit of netting over, but we'll see. After all, those iceberg lettuce seedlings are very tiny, and if they get picked out of the soil, even left for an hour, there's no saving them. It doesn't look too bad. I'm not too concerned about the sticks everywhere. It just sort of reminds me of mulch really, but there they are. They're so tiny and fragile. But I'm glad to have the marigolds out and the radicchio in. And this is the garden bed that I had put the sticks over in my last video. The chard leaves are making their way up through it, and for the most of it, the birds have stayed off it. There is one little spot here where they've managed to come in from this side and move the stick and a little bit of mulch, but that's not too bad. Just readjust that. The temperature of the hot coffee pot has dropped a couple of degrees. I'm not sure if it's because it's a cooler day or that it is slowing down the composting. So I'm going to just pull it apart a bit and rearrange and compost some thinner layers and add some pelletized manure that I have here at home and see if I can get it composting a bit hotter. It's quite difficult in such a small area. I have read that horse manure is one of the hottest manures that you can put into a compost or a hot compost. So I'm just going to do this until I can get my hands on some horse manure, which I probably can pick up locally. Lots of people sell it in bags at their front gate. So it's a matter of finding some, and I'm going to get a bigger saucer to put on as a lid because I think that leaks a lot of the warmth.